Today I'm going to make Dhaba style egg curry. So let's start cooking. To start the Dhaba curry, first I'm going to switch on the gas. Add mustard oil. Heat the mustard oil until it smokes. And when the smoke starts coming, I'm going to add cumin seeds, green cardamom pods, cinnamon stick, and slit green chilies. Stir them for a few seconds. Now I'm going to add onion paste. After sauteing the onion for a few minutes, I'm going to add ginger garlic paste and cook till the rawness of ginger garlic paste and onion goes away. As the color of onion starts to change, I'm going to add the seasoning. First, I'm going to add turmeric powder, red chili powder, coriander powder, homemade garam masala, and last meat masala. And to avoid the masala getting burned, I'm going to add little water. Once the rawness of masala is gone, it's time to add tomato puree. Cook the masala till the tomato is properly cooked and it starts reducing. The masala is nicely reduced. Now I'm going to add the eggs. Now into this we'll add some water. After adding water, I'm going to season it with some salt, black pepper powder, and last kasuri methi. Give a quick stir. And cover with the lid and cook it for at least 5 minutes. And there you go guys, our Dhaba egg curry is now ready. And now I'll turn off the flame, and to add a little more flavor to the dish, I'm going to add freshly chopped coriander. Good amount of it. And to add more flavor, some ghee. And there you go guys, our Dhaba style egg curry is now ready. Who's going to cook a nice egg curry Kolhapuri style? So let's start cooking. For egg curry Kolhapuri style, first we'll make the Kolhapuri masala. The Kolhapuri masala will be made in 2 stages. First we'll dry roast the masala. First I'll switch on the gas. As the pan starts to heat up, first I'm going to add coriander seeds, cumin seeds, sesame seeds, mustard seeds, carom seeds, stone flower, bay leaf, dry red chilies, and to balance the heat, I'm going to add some salt. So guys, I'm going to roast this masala for at least 2 minutes and then I'm going to keep it for cooling. In the meanwhile, we'll make the Kolhapuri masala second stage. For this second stage of Kolhapuri masala, again I'm going to switch on the gas, add oil, at least 2 tablespoons. And once the oil heats up, I'll start adding the spices. First, I'm going to add dry coconut, green cardamom pods, black cardamom pod, the star ingredient, star anise, cloves, nutmeg, mace, cinnamon stick, black peppercorn, and last fenugreek seeds. Our second stage of Kolhapuri masala spices are also roasted. Now I'm going to transfer them into a bowl. While the spices cool down, we'll boil the eggs till that time. The eggs are almost ready and the spices have also cooled down. Now I'm going to grind the spices into a fine powder. I'm going to transfer all the spices into one bowl. And to the spices, I'm going to add some seasoning. First, hing, turmeric powder, and last, red chili powder. So guys, our Kolhapuri masala is now ready. Let's start making the gravy. For that, first I'm going to add oil. As the oil starts to heat up, first I'm going to add chopped ginger garlic. Saute it for a minute. Now at this stage, I'm going to also add chopped onion. As the onion starts to get golden brown in color, I'm going to add the Kolhapuri masala. As the color of the masala starts to get changed, I'm going to add some water so the masala doesn't burn. I'll keep adding the water on regular intervals till the masala gets properly cooked and the gravy gets ready. As the oil starts to separate, I'm going to add the eggs. I'm going to take every egg and dock it and place the eggs one by one. After adding all the eggs, I'm going to cover the pan and cook it for at least 2 minutes. Our egg curry Kolhapuri style is now ready. Now for a final touch, I'm going to squeeze lemon in it and serve it. So there you go guys, our anda curry Kolhapuri style is now ready.
Achari Anda Curry. Let's begin. Achari Anda Masala is of course a very simple recipe. How you can shorten this recipe, I'll of course tell you later. But let's begin with Achari Masala. First things first, in a pan, coriander seeds along with carom seeds. The idea is to dry roast all these spices so that you can make your own pickling spices or achari spice at home. Kalonji seeds, onion seeds, immediately followed by fennel seeds, dried red chilies. Now these are chilies that give you a combination of spice as well as color. I'm also going to use the seeds because there is no separate chili powder in this recipe. So you need that spice or that pungency or that heat coming in from the seeds. Ensure that these masalas get nice and wonderfully fragrant on medium flame. Let's immediately follow this up with cumin seeds. All of these of course are untoasted because the whole idea is to toast these all together. Fenugreek seeds. And last but not the least, yellow mustard. Now by all means you can also use black mustard, but the whole idea is it becomes extremely pungent. And pickled spices generally are associated with yellow mustard seeds. Let's add these and continue toasting these. The pickling spices are well toasted. With this off goes the flame, and this needs to be kept aside so that all the spices cool down before we grind them into a fine powder. Let's begin with the curry, for which of course I'm going to use a kadhai or a wok and begin with mustard oil. Well, this recipe particularly uses mustard oil because of the pungency that it brings to the recipe. Of course, the smokiness, the earthy aroma all comes from the mustard oil. If you're not a huge fan of mustard oil, what I would suggest is you take regular vegetable oil or any seed oil for that matter and add in just a little bit of mustard towards the end to bring out that whole aroma in this recipe. Once the oil heats up, the first thing that goes in, onion paste. I'm using onion paste in this recipe for one very simple reason, because I'm out on time. Onion paste hastens up the whole process. It takes you away from chopping, cutting, slicing and things like that, and it just brings it straight to the stage where it starts looking almost like a gravy. While the onions are getting cooked, let me also add in paste of ginger and garlic. Now, of course, ginger garlic has more of garlic and less of ginger. By now, you all would have realized the ratio that I use is 2:1. 2 times garlic, and one time ginger. Once the raw flavor of the onions, ginger and garlic goes away, I'm going to add in tomato puree. Let's move on to one very critical ingredient in this recipe, turmeric powder. Well, most pickling spices have turmeric as an ingredient, so let's not forget that. Salt as required. Mix this well and allow this to cook on medium flame till the oil starts releasing from the sides of the pan. In the meanwhile, let's quickly grind the pickling spices. The oil has started releasing the sides of the pan. Time to add in a ground Achari masala or pickling spices. Let's mix this well. I've added almost 3/4 of the powder spices that we just made because I think that's perfect for this kind of a recipe. If you realize at this point in time, the masala immediately starts thickening, and that is actually because of the coriander seeds. Because coriander seeds and onions, they both work as a thickener in this recipe. Time to add in water. Allow this to boil on medium flame for at least 8 to 10 minutes. Stir this well. Time to add in the hard-boiled eggs. What I'm going to do is just give it a few gashes like so that the curry goes straight within. By all means, you could also half this or quarter this, but I like this way so that it also looks a little different. Allow the eggs to simmer in this curry for at least like a minute or so. And in the interim, let's quickly finely chop some fresh coriander leaves. With this, Achari Anda Curry is done and ready. This goes best with Indian breads. Trust me when I say this. Well, today I'm making an extremely tedious recipe called Anda Lababdar. Well, Lababdar is one of those classic gravy bases which has onions, tomatoes, and of course a few spices. Of course, it begins with oil. I'll tell you how it is, but it usually is complicated because it's all hand chopped, and then you have to saute everything, cook it, and then build it up slowly and gradually. What I'm doing is breaking all myths, and like I said, a recipe under 5 minutes, and I promise. But provided the eggs are cooked to the doneness that you require and is done and ready. First, let's begin with onions roughly cut in a mixer jar. To this, I'm going to add in ginger, again completely personalized, less, more, as you like. To this, I'm going to add in cloves of garlic and green chilies, again to the kind of spice that you like and prefer. I'm going to crush this, not grind this, remember. Your onion mix is cut and ready. Turn the flame on and I'm going to add in oil. A little more in a lababdar because we need the oil to kind of separate and things like that. Let's begin this recipe with bay leaf, and I'm going to add in this mix. I'm going to use this back, and I'm also going to crush tomatoes just similarly. Again, crush it, do not grind it into a puree. Done and ready. Allow the onions to cook on high flame, and to hasten this process further up, I'm going to add in salt at this stage. It'll start releasing more moisture, caramelize faster. That's a trick for you. You let the onions, the garlic, the green chilies and the ginger cook for a while, and then we're going to add in the tomatoes. Well, do not make the mistake of grinding all of this together, otherwise you'll end up getting puree. And along with the tomatoes, let's start adding in the rest of the spices, beginning with red chili powder, a mix for good color as well as spice. Just don't get scared by the quantity, but this is very good in color. Coriander seeds powder, garam masala powder, and last but not the least, my most favorite, kasuri methi. We need to mix this well. And once that's done, we're going to add in a cup full of water, very important. Another mix. And we need to keep this on medium to high flame, covered for 2 minutes. Let's have a quick check. Well, oil has wonderfully released. A quick mix. The next step and the final step, boiled eggs, either sliced, diced or cut into halves. Choice is completely yours. While you're cutting the eggs, remember to keep this going because this will keep releasing oil, and that's what's required in a wonderful lababdar. Let's place the eggs. On top of this, as an element of surprise, I'm going to grate one egg. And finally, last but not the least, a green chili. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, off goes the flame. And with this, your eggs lababdar is done and ready, and as promised, under 5 minutes.
Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple Anda Malai Kofta. For that I have taken 6 boiled eggs which I'm going to grate. Now to these boiled and grated eggs, I'm going to add approximately 75 to 100 grams of cottage cheese. I'm going to grate this as well. The cottage cheese is going to give a nice creamy texture to the koftas. I'm going to add 2 finely chopped green chilies, half a teaspoon of ginger paste. Let's add 1/4 teaspoon of pepper powder, a teaspoon of red chili powder, some finely chopped mint leaves, some finely chopped fresh coriander, 1/4 cup of corn flour. Just mix this gently and well. If you feel that the cornstarch is slightly less, you can add a little more of it too. let's add some salt. And I'm going to crack an egg in this. Mix it well. I'm going to grease my palms with little oil, and then we are going to make small koftas with this mixture. So I've taken about a heaped tablespoon of this mixture, and I'm going to roll it round and then flatten it slightly. Now let's coat these koftas with some corn flour. I've already kept a kadai of oil to heat here. We're just going to simply fry these koftas till they're nice golden and brown. Let's flip these koftas because I want them to be fried evenly golden brown. These are done. Let's remove them from the oil and drain the oil off well. And fry the remaining koftas in a similar manner. And now for the gravy, I'm going to heat a tablespoon of oil and about 2 tablespoons of ghee. And once the oil is hot, we're going to add 3 medium-sized onions which we have sliced. And we're going to saute these onions till they are nice, soft and translucent. I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt so that the onions cook faster. The onions have turned nice, soft and pink. I'm going to add 4 cloves of garlic that I have finely chopped, 1 inch of ginger and 3 green chilies, and 1/4 cup of cashew nuts. And now let's fry this for another 2 to 3 minutes. Now to this, let's add 3 medium-sized tomatoes that I have sliced. And let's add 2 cups of water to this. And cover and cook for 15 to 20 minutes. So it's been over 15 minutes. We've kept the onions and the tomatoes to cook. And these are cooked really well, nice, soft and mushy. Let's switch off the flame, cool this, and we grind this to a very fine puree. Now in the same kadai, I'm going to heat a tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons of ghee. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add a teaspoon of coriander seed powder, a teaspoon of cumin seed powder, a teaspoon of red chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder. I'm just going to quickly fry this for a few seconds, and then we're going to add the ground tomato and onion puree. You can see how creamy the gravy is looking. We're just going to cook this for another 2 to 3 minutes. As you can see, the oil is already separating in the gravy. We'll add 2 cups of water to this to make a nice consistency. Let's add some finely chopped coriander leaves to this. some roasted and crushed kasuri methi, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of this. Let's sprinkle 1/2 teaspoon of garam masala powder. Mix this well. And now to make the curry even more delicious, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cream. I've kept the flame on a medium to a low. And I'm now going to add the koftas to the gravy. I'm going to cook these koftas in the gravy till the gravy comes to a boil. And our anda malai kofta is ready to be served. Let's remove it in a serving bowl. I'm going to garnish this with some fresh cream, a pinch of kasuri methi powder, and some finely chopped fresh coriander. And our anda malai kofta is ready to be served. You can have this with parathas or rice, anything of your choice. So let's quickly go and make the egg masala. First, let's grind some onions. I have deep fried 3 onions over here. See how nice, beautiful golden color it has got. Now I'm going to grind this to a nice fine paste. You will need to add some water to make a fine paste. Very little water. So this is done. So let's now make the gravy. I've already kept a kadai to heat over here. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ghee, and then I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of kasuri methi powder, and I have made a paste of 1 teaspoon ginger, garlic and green chili, which I'm going to add to this. I'm going to saute this till the raw flavor goes out. Now I'm going to add the onion paste that we had made. Saute it for a minute. We don't need to saute this too much because we'd already fried the onions. Now I'm going to add tomato puree. So I took 3 tomatoes. I just pressure cooked them, peeled them off, and I have ground this to a fine paste. I'm going to add this now to the onion paste. The tomatoes are already boiled in here, so we don't need to saute this masala too much. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 tablespoon of coriander powder, and 1 teaspoon of cumin seed powder. And now I'm going to just mix this well. The flame is on a medium, it's not too high or too low. Now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cashew nut paste. Now I'm going to saute this till the oil separates. You can see the oil has separated, and now I'm going to add a cup of water to this. Now at this point I'm going to add some cream. So I've taken 1/4 cup of cream here. I'm going to keep the flame a little lower than the medium, and I'm going to add some salt to this. So now while our curry is boiling, I'm going to shell 5 eggs that I have boiled here. Just cut them lengthwise and just place it in the gravy. You can see the oil is also still separating and the gravy is looking really beautiful. I've got one more surprise element to add into this: fried potatoes. So I have taken 2 potatoes, chopped them and deep fried them. And I'm going to sprinkle some freshly chopped coriander and just cover this and cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes, and our egg masala is done. Smelling really divine, and our egg masala is ready. Just let me remove it in a serving bowl. My favorite, the aloo goes in first. This simple, yummy egg masala can be had with a lovely crispy paratha or with plain steamed rice. But I love to add a little nimbu and onions along with it.
Anda Methi Masala. Well, preparation wise, I have 2-3 things which are already done and kept here. The first one, of course, is a puree of tomatoes, and I also have hard boiled eggs ready, peeled, ready to jump in the gravy. Let's make the gravy on that note. First things first, oil or ghee or butter, choice is completely yours. I prefer oil because I like this recipe slightly lighter and not rich or richer. Once the oil heats, I'm going to add in cumin seeds and allow these to crackle. Once that happens, I'm going to throw in sliced onions. I'm going to crush these slightly so that they caramelize faster. To aid this process and kind of accelerate the whole process of caramelization, I'm going to add in salt and allow the onions to turn brown in color. When I say brown, golden brown. Time to add in paste of ginger and garlic. Well, at this stage, if you want to kind of spike this recipe up, you can also throw in some green chili paste. Along with this, I'm also going to add in red chili powder. I want all these spices to cook before I add in the tomatoes. Turmeric powder. And last but not the least, garam masala powder. Let's stir this well and ensure the raw flavor of ginger and garlic goes away. Time to add in fresh tomato puree. By all means, you can also use the proprietary tomato puree that's available in the open market, but I prefer fresh. And along with this, some extra additional flavor, and to ensure all the flavor comes out from this gravy, some grain sugar. Well, sugar needs to be as much as we do not want to sweeten this. It just has to kind of balance the sourness of the tomatoes, and that's about it. Let's mix this well. Once oil starts releasing from the sides of the pan, I'm going to add in roughly half a cup of water. Let's stir this well and allow this to boil on high flame. While that's happening, let's roughly cut some fresh fenugreek leaves. Time to add in the freshly cut fenugreek leaves. Well, initially this may look like a lot of fenugreek, but trust me, a minute in line and all of this will wilt beautifully into this masala, making it the methi masala. Now you'd be wondering, where is the anda? Now, there are two ways you can treat this recipe. You can actually treat this like a shakshuka, which also at some point in time I would show you. You can break in whole eggs directly, cover this and cook it literally like a shakshuka. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to add in hard-boiled eggs. You could quarter these, half these, choices completely yours. But what's important is to add in some more water so that this becomes saucy. So later, you can eat this with a roti, chapati, naan, fulka, or even puris for that matter. At this stage, if you want to make this slightly richer, you can also add in either a knob of butter or some cream. Let's half hard-boiled eggs like so and place these wherever you want. One quick swirl, and with this, anda methi masala is done and ready. And of course the flame. Like I said before, this will go amazingly well with most Indian breads. Well, why Indian breads? Try this with pav or even sliced bread for that matter.